first up, we asked in the pre-show how everyone was deploying Office, and there's a couple different ways. So let's talk about really quickly, because we have a lot to go over. The way that looks like most people are deploying it, which is this blog that we have up. It's called Office 365 the right way, and we're just going to jump down to the bottom third, and it's using PDQ to install Office. So quickly, I'm going to try to cover this as fast as I possibly can.
Yes.
I told her she has 30 seconds.
I have 30 seconds. You ready? It's basically this. You download the Office deployment tool. You pick your favorite little place. I put it on the desktop, called it ODT. It's going to download a really small application. When you extract it, it's going to extract this exe and then a config. But that's not good enough for me, because me, I like to customize everything. So then I found this Office customization tool. This is basically the instructions of how you want to deploy and what applications you want to deploy. Okay, so you walk through this, you'll see it's Microsoft, so there's 17,000 different things you have
Options.
to check off,
Yep.
right? This was painful for me, but that's me. Anyway, so check all this off. Then you're going to export this. Guess where it's going to go? Same location. Here's mine. Here's my little XML. Okay. So I did a bunch of reading on this, and Drew is going to include this. It's Microsoft, so you guessed it, also painful. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple more. I found everything you ever wanted to know, but here's really what you need to know. And this is, in fact, in the article, so you can go step by step by step. You're going to attach the installer. Then you're going to attach the XML, which again is the instruction manual, right? This is a little bit interesting. You're also going to attach the XML as the parameter. Exactly.
Yeah, because the
Did I make it, Drew? Did I make it?
Minute 30.
Oh,
Greg was even
man.
timing you in the chat.
Oh, crap. Okay. Anyway,
Better hand it off.
now here is Marcel to show us a different way. Hi, Marcel.
Hi, everyone. I would like to show you a bit different way to upgrade Office, because Tara was talking about installation of Office. The steps are very similar. Mostly, like 95% it's the same list of to-dos you have to do. But there is a little twist at the beginning, and I would like to show you how you can uninstall the previous version, which you will have to get rid of because it isn't supported. There is one thing that Microsoft did with Office 2016 and 2019. They shortened the lifespan of the software, the support, to 5 years. So since 2019, 2021, and 2024, offices have only 5 years support. So to move along, I will share my screen to show you what's going on. You have seen this website?
Yep.
Yep, it's the Office deployment tool. What it does, you download just an executable, which is a self-extracting file, the Office deployment tool. That you just run and extract two files, the setup.exe and a example configuration file that you can use straight. And if you, when you extract it, you get a folder. I suggest to create a temporary ODT folder on the C drive, like I have here. And the biggest point here is that the setup.exe is a universal installer. It does what you tell it to do, and that's done via the configuration file. The configuration file can be edited manually, or like Tara said, you have the Office customization tool where you can configure if you want the 64-bit, who would want the 32-bit version. You can choose the Office suites which you want to install. You can choose the application which you want to install or don't want to install, and the update channel if you want the current one or the latest or previous versions. All this can be set up here. I don't want to talk too long about this because you can look it up yourself. Also, there is a website of the overview of the Office customization tool, which contains a bit more information than the wizard itself. There are some parameters which are not set by the wizard itself. So to get to the list, a example of the installation from the content delivery network is like this. You have the configuration tag where is the client edition specified, the channel, the product ID, because not everyone is using the same product ID. There are several product IDs like a business retail, Pro Plus retail, small bus retail, and there are the volume licenses like mentioned here. The setup can download all the editions which are in retail or volume. You cannot combine the installer in one big package for volume and retail. You have to separate them, but you can put together all the retail versions, including 21, 24, and 365 in one package. You don't need multiple big packages. To continue, so what we need, like the first step, is the Uninstall.xml. You won't find this in many places if you don't know what to search for. And this has the magic word to remove all set to true. When you run the setup.exe with the parameter configure and the Uninstall.xml, which has this form, it will remove all installations, all previous installations of Office 2016, 2019, 2021. It even can remove the MSI versions, which are volume-based.
And this is where some people might start running into issues, whether like Microsoft Office is still open, maybe they're working on it, maybe they ignored your instructions, whereas like you told them to leave the computer on at night or something like that. That's where I feel like people might run into issues, is uninstalling the previous versions to get the new version on there.
Well, this is going to uninstall it no matter what the state.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcel.
Yes. It has the parameter to force up shutdown, but there is a small, tiny issue. If the user has a document open and the document is not saved, it won't continue because of the dialog, please save your document.
So Marcel, quick question, because in the XML, there is a checkbox that it says it's going to uninstall. What's the difference between that checkbox and what you're doing right here?
Truly, I don't know exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because I've always used this way. It was always working for me. And the uninstall, at least what I saw, can get stuck right at this moment where you need to close the application and the files are not saved.
Okay.
So that can explain this. But I always use this uninstall XML because for me, it was always the fastest way to remove previous installations. Even when you have systems you get from OEMs, which come with pre-installed multiple language versions, which is very common here in Europe, that you get the version with English, with Czech, Slovak, Polish, and sometimes also Hungarian. And all these editions are very time expensive to uninstall manually.
Okay, so I just got to hurry along just a little bit. So your script is saying, I don't care what you're doing, I'm going to uninstall you. Let's go to the next step.
Remove it all.
Yep.
And this way, I will now jump to the example I have here.
Okay. For
the CDN installation, because we can also install from a local installation and from an UNC path from the network. But I'm going to show these CDN version.
Okay.
Okay. The first step, you create a new, we are going to show it in Connect, but you can also use PDQ deploy and inventory to do this. But in Connect, you have to set the timeout of the package to at least 60 minutes because it can take longer. Then the first step is to kill the running application, and that's done by a PowerShell. We will share the script on the website, where you just check if the applications are running. If so, they get killed. What is necessary to do in this case is to set the error mode to continue. So if this doesn't run because there is no application running, it errors out, and you need to continue to the next step. Sorry, something reloaded here. The next step is then to upload the setup.exe, the uninstall.xml, and the install.xml.
Okay.
Then you edit these two lines. You add setup.exe.configure uninstall.xml. As I said previously, this will uninstall the Office application. The second line will install the new version as defined in the XML file.
Okay.
So that second line won't kick off until the first line completes the uninstall?
Yes.
Okay.
It will wait for
Okay.
the first line to finish. And that's all for this package. You can deploy it to a computer. I can show it later if there is interest, because I have here a device open which has Windows 11 and Office Professional Plus 2019 installed. So I will kick off this
Okay.
on my test device. Yep, deploying.
How long are you typically seeing this deployment take to do the uninstall and install of the new version?
It all depends how fast the connection is.
Yeah.
Because
because this one's
does,
downloading all the information online from Microsoft
to
sources.
download all the stuff. But the installations takes maybe 15 to 20 minutes, not longer.
Okay.
It all depends on the system you are running.
Yeah.
So it's running in the background now, and in the meantime, I can show you the other packages, because there is one thing that is important to show, and that's the UNC is technically the same, but the XML contains the information where the installation files are located.
Mm-hmm.
And that's UNC. The source path is set to server install 365, just like an example. The important thing is, by default, Connect is not able to access a local server on the local network. And this is mostly used for the situations where you have 100, 200, many devices on the local network, and you don't want to saturate your internet connection. This way, you can tell it to pull the installation files from a local share. The only important thing is that Connect natively doesn't support this, and you have to do one thing, and that's in Active Directory environment, you set up a file share, Windows file share, and add the domain computer object to the permissions, so all the devices have access to this share. And that's a very simple thing to do in Active Directory environment. And this way, you will save a lot of bandwidth.
Okay.
But necessary. And now back to the last package, which uses a local installation. Everything is the same. The only difference is in the second step, where you create the folder, the temp ODT. Then you move the Office folder, which you have uploaded here in the bottom part, which contains all the files. The structure of the directories has to be maintained. That means the Office directory has to be created within the ODT folder. And then just the uninstall is run, and the install local XML. How you name the XML, it does not matter. It's up to you. But the file has to have the source path pointing to the location on C temp ODT. And this way, the upgrade will happen locally on the computer. But this is only for the case where you need to upload a modified version of the installer for some reason or some previous build that you need. But as I said, the important thing is you have to maintain the folder structure. Otherwise, it will fail.
Yeah. And I think it's important to point out, like, you have these different installation options, whether you're using a network share or the CDN. Obviously, CDN is going to be great if you're targeting a truly remote device that is not on a local network with other devices that's going to be able to access, maybe over the VPN, it's not going to access a local or a network share or anything like that, So that just downloads the files you need, everything off the internet. Versus, if you're dealing with on-prem devices that can access a network share and you want to save bandwidth that way, great. Point them to that instead.
Yeah. So let's make sure we don't have any questions in the chat before we move on to Andrew. I see a couple. Let me just look up really quick. I think you answered the UNC path working with Connect. You did answer that. Drew, is there anything that he didn't answer? They were coming too quickly. Maybe you did answer them, Marcel. Okay, so just to clarify, Marcel did write a blog about this, so Drew will attach it to the description of the show so you can follow along. And I think I can speak for Marcel when I say if you have questions, hit him up in Discord, and he is always happy to help. Thank you so much, Marcel.
Yeah, and I think he brings up a good point with that, the whole changes to the lifecycle support of Microsoft Office, because it used to be 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be you had 5 years of feature support and an additional 5 years of security update. So 10 years total there. And now everything, and again, we've kind of brought this up when we were talking about MDT, but it all comes back to, let me put my tinfoil hat on, Microsoft wanting more money, right? Because it's like all of a sudden now I have to update this every 5 years, and now it's like the decision between going to 365 or staying with these traditional installs is a lot harder because the cost is probably much closer. But yeah, and one other thing that I noticed before we move on to the next section is that I was looking up because, there's only so many different Office versions and stuff. And one of them you'll see out there, if you have volume licensing, you have access to LTSC. And I'm like, oh, well, LTSC, long-term servicing channel, maybe you got 10-year support. Nope, it's still 5 years. Even the LTSC version is still 5 years of support. The only difference with LTSC is that you don't get any feature updates. So no UI changes, no new features over that 5 years. You just get security updates. Whereas the regular version of Office, you're getting, you might get some feature updates, some UI changes, whatever, and the security updates.
The question is, do you want those feature updates, Brock?
Probably. At this rate, probably not.
Probably not.
Go LTSC.
Okay, Andrew, you're up, man.
Hello. My name's Andrew, and I'm up, man. It's AI time. Okay,
Yeah.
So Tara, you've been learning PowerShell, and it's been awesome. There's a lot to that. You're using AI to help you. That's awesome. I see a lot of people who aren't learning PowerShell, who are just getting things from AI. And I wanted to take this week to kind of check out what is the best AI to use. And in doing that, we might have ran into a couple of other things along the way. Just to give some context, everybody, we are doing a little challenge here. I gave 3 different AI models a prompt, just one prompt, and I took the output and reviewed it to notice some differences between them. And the prompt was, write a PowerShell script to get installed software and export to CSV. The script should be readable and follow best practices. That's all I said.
That's a pretty simplified prompt.
It is. It could introduce some issues. That's why I chose it, because there's things like Win32 product that could potentially cause issues if it used it. So I wanted to see what it would do. And we did see what it would do. I think you have, oh my goodness, lovely, lovely. Let me get this bigger on my end. Glorious. Okay, so we have 3 different scripts that we created here. ChatGPT 5.2 thinking. I went thinking mode because 5.2 regular, from what I've seen, it ain't the best. Okay, they're struggling out there. Then we got Gemini, which I believe I did Gemini Pro on that. I have one query for Gemini Pro, and it's right there. And then Claude Sonnet 4.1. Okay, I think we should start. Claude Sonnet's a great one to start at. I like, there's some help here. That's really cool. That's one great use of AI. I like the example.
Some help.
People know how to do it. Some help. It might be a little over, but go to the notes real quick. It's making things up. The author is IT administrator. right there at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's just making things up. Who's the IT administrator? I don't know. It's me, I guess. I got to change the name. But okay, not bad. Looks like we got some stuff. Commandlet binding, I like to see it. The parameters, that's kind of cool, right? Makes things adaptable a little bit. It's doing a normal thing. It's querying the registry, a bunch of different values, looping through, doing some extra stuff, going a little bit above and beyond there.
Ooh. Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. What are we even looking at
151
anymore?
lines later.
Yeah. This is kind of where it starts to introduce that thing of like, if we're not learning PowerShell and we're reading this, well, I'll tell you what, I do know PowerShell and I'm already struggling a little bit to follow along. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with PowerShell, but if you hadn't, this looks super confusing. I mean, Tara, you're in the process of learning PowerShell.
Yep.
When you see this, like, how's it reading to you?
Well, it's really messy. I just saw one line that I read that says find an object where the size is greater than 0, but it had a lot of extra stuff in there kind of muddying it up. So it was a little hard for me to understand.
It's hard for me to understand as well. Let's see if it works though, because that's ultimately what matters at the end. Does it work? So at the bottom, Brock, ampersand, and then period / whatever this file is. Okay.
Ooh, we got
It's
some
mad.
red.
Why is it erroring? What's it mad at, Andrew?
It's
this
talking about a
component.
property that doesn't exist. I think it probably
Oh,
tried
cool.
to grab too much information and then make a custom object kind of thing after it when it didn't have it. It didn't validate. It went above and beyond and it confused itself because it was overly complex, essentially. Because what we're trying to do, we're trying to query the registry and that's display that basically.
I mean, yeah, look at this. Display top 10 applications by size, display summary. You didn't ask for any of that.
No.
Crazy.
Not great. Not great. So that's, it looks cool on paper. If someone were to show me this script and say, hey, I wrote this, I'd be like, whoa, wow, you know what you're doing there. But if it doesn't work, does it matter whatsoever?
No.
Let's check out ChatGPT 5.2 as the next one, if we could. Okay, we got some help. Does anyone actually read all that? I think almost no one does these days, but it is there. In case you want to see how it works, should be mostly understandable. Okay, some parameters. I do like parameters. Not bad. Does some other stuff. It sets the error action preference in strict mode. Okay. I'm not opposed to that. It has a function within it, which is just, to me, a little over the top for a simple script.
Yeah.
You're introducing new concepts. You're calling the function one time. I get it. Don't necessarily love it. This kind of looks like the other one in some ways, the way the pipeline is at the end. But a little bit less lines overall, a little bit less complex.
Looks like we closed the function there.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that's why. It's a little ugly.
Yeah, even this, if you're coming at this from a beginner's perspective, if you're like a beginner in PowerShell and you ask, hey, write this for me, I need to do this thing, right? You're expecting like simple, like what's the minimum lines to get this thing done? And all of a sudden this spits out, you're like, really? This might even turn you off PowerShell, or it's like, just to do that simple thing that you're asking, like it required all of this?
Yeah. And how do you troubleshoot this if it goes wrong? Really challenging stuff because you're in so deep. We didn't just take a little script that's one line's not working. This is in the middle of a whole bunch of loops and all kinds of things that it's going to be confusing. Let's see if it works though.
That one
Okay.
exported something.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did get a CSV. Was this the CSV that it exported?
Ooh, look at all those programs. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, the data, it's readable.
I'm happy for that. It did not work the first time I tried it, so I'm glad that it's working now.
It fears
And
you.
it worked yesterday as well. Yeah, something. Well, it knows. I'm onto it. I know what's going on here. I'm okay with that though. If it works, it works. If we had to change this in the future, you're gonna have to call somebody else because whoever used AI to generate this is just gonna be a challenge.
Okay.
Let's check out Gemini because Gemini took a different approach, much different approach. You see this? That's like 10 lines of comments. That's nothing. It basically doesn't even exist. No parameters, right? That's a hard-coded variable right there. If we call the script, we can't change that. We have to edit the script manually by typing it. If it were a parameter, we could do something else. But okay, not the end of the world, not the most flexible. Define some registry paths, then you loop through it. That's really what we're doing ultimately. Checking registry for certain things.
Like looking for an object and then it's find the different properties and stuff.
Yep. Creating
40
some
lines
properties so it
versus
looks good.
140?
Wow. You're like, what were those 100 lines for?
Yeah.
Exactly. Fluff. Best practice, I guess. Let's try running this, though, just to make sure that it works, because 41 lines is not so great if it doesn't actually work.
Success.
Export it.
Oh, look at that. Dude, it even hits you up with the success.
I
Been
get a cute little
exported.
message. It's so sweet. It's so nice,
Green.
Andrew.
Oh,
It's so green. Oh my gosh. Where'd we go?
Oh, it goes to that same place.
yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to the desktop, but I mean, this is going to be a different list.
Yeah. If I got a tip if you want to see something.
Sure. This should be it, right?
Yeah, don't open it in that though.
Oh,
No.
too late.
Yeah, it's some, I don't know, some weird CSV software that we had probably tested for something. If you go down to the bottom though, just real quick, just for anybody out there, if you type in code and then space, and because you see our current location is the desktop, do period / and then installed software.csv. Just tab it. Yeah. Boom. And then press enter and it should open up a tab. It's already open here, but if it were not open at
Gotcha.
the top tab, it would open it there.
There you go.
Cool little tip there. Okay. What does this all mean at the end of the day? Well, what this means, and it's something that we've known, if you are a beginner at PowerShell, be very weary of asking for large things from AI. I highly recommend starting small, testing small. You don't have to understand what every command, well, you should understand generally what they do, but you can start running things. You really should take this opportunity to build the script alongside AI, not just ask for huge tasks, because I feel like you're going to get a lot less success and you won't have actually learned anything at the end of it, which is challenging. And in this time of AI, there is a certain amount of competency that you need to have to be able to wield the tool properly and for it to be a force multiplier for you. So I encourage you, like Tara is, to find your opportunities to learn PowerShell to a certain degree. I'm not saying you have to be able to write that whole thing from scratch yourself. I'm saying we should understand the pipeline, maybe a couple commands, what objects are, and we can kind of decipher and go from there. And AI can then be used to really empower you. And I'm very curious to see, Tara, as you go through your journey, the opportunities that we have to supercharge what you're doing with just a little bit of AI assistance.
Me too.
Putting JoshBot to work.
JoshBot is going to make me so smart.
Well, thanks for that, Andrew. That's awesome.
That was cool.
And there's, I'm interested. We got a comment in the chat. Claude made me a 2,000 line PowerShell script, but it does have a GUI and do quite a bit. Did it just work out of the gate, I wonder? I got to know. I'm invested in that question.
Yeah, let us know on Discord. I'm very curious if people have had, I mean, I see some people who vibe code some huge stuff. But
Well-
with 2,000 lines, if you have an issue, good luck troubleshooting.
Dude, yeah.
Andrew, I like what Dylan52 Meow, I'm going to say the whole name because it makes me laugh. I like what he says, that he'd like a deep dive into
VS Code
doing
tips and
this. Like,
tricks.
this might be a good PowerShell
Okay.
episode where you pit all the AI bots against each other. PowerShell, who does it best? The long
Okay.
form.
I like that, Dylan.
It's a great idea. Okay, thanks, Andrew. That was fun. And thank you so much, Marcel, for showing us that neat trick. I think you solved a lot of problems for people in the chat, so I appreciate you joining as well. Okay, that's our show. For PDQ, I'm Tara.
I'm Brock.
I'm Marcel.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us on this Thursday. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Those are the three things we're asking of you. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll be back next week. You guys all have a great weekend.